Welcome, everybody, to a Delco Nerd Network Hot Take. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't seen a hot take before, well, it's where a few friends get in a basement. We give our thoughts, we give our opinions on a TV show, a movie, or a game. Today, it's going to be a game. That game is Stellar Blade. Here to discuss, as always, the Alpha Natiba, Chris Trio.
Gooch, my beta energy is strong, and I'm ready to talk about it. It's
You're
full.
gonna unleash some beta skills on
beta,
me?
I'm feeling real beta. No, how you doing, Gooch? I'm excited to actually talk a little Stellar Blade.
Doing absolutely fantastic. We're 3 for 4 today.
We are. We're getting there.
We're on that. We're over the hump.
We are. We're on the decline, as they say. But I'm ready to talk some Stellar Blade. I'm not gonna lie. Gooch, what did you think of Stellar Blade?
Fucking love Stellar Blade, man. Really enjoyed everything about Stellar Blade. From the combat to the narrative, even a little bit.
I agree.
It can get a little bit low quality in the beginning, or it seems kind of
what's going on.
Yeah, or
Right.
But I really enjoyed what it was. This is a developer with their first console game, a Korean studio. Never
Shift
played
Up, right?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever played a Korean game before.
No.
So my experience in the art style, not necessarily the gameplay, but just what this game was, sort of with Atomic Heart and seeing Ukrainian devs take on whatever.
Those were Russian.
No, they were Ukrainian, right?
Atomic Heart's Russian.
No, the game is in Russia, but the dev is Ukrainian.
I don't believe, because the Stalker is Ukrainian. I don't believe because I remember when Atomic Heart came out, there was this big
Mundfish
kerfuffle about them being a Russian affiliated developer.
I think you're right.
And that type of stuff.
Okay. Anyway, So that being said, I really had a fantastic time with Stellar Blade. I think it's gonna be an award-winning game.
I agree.
I really think it's awesome. I love its combat. There, I just the world was pretty interesting and not too much open worldy. I didn't think it was too much. I don't think it overstays its welcome at all.
Right.
I think the ending is pretty interesting. I'm kind of repeating myself here.
No.
But what did you think?
I enjoyed it a lot. It was a game we were kind of both, I think, teetering on a little bit. Whether or not we were
heavy
gonna get
teetering on getting. I think I pre-ordered the week it came out.
Yeah, I played.
I saw it and I was just like, this looks different. I'm enjoying it. I kind of like I know there's a lot of controversy around Eve, and we can talk about that. But I'm I like how this protagonist is super hot for some reason.
No,
I thought that was appealing to me, not from this is the way they're going with this character.
It is absolutely a different avenue from what we see a lot these days. And,
for sure,
and I'm not saying you need a girl in every game or a guy even that is super overly hypersexualized to the degree of it's the point of the character, because it's
definitely not. Yeah.
Well, and I think hers is a point to the character in the way of they're supposed to be the pinnacle, their frames are when they talk about their body frames and stuff like that, they're this is the pinnacle design in human evolution or something like that in that degree. And I think it's how it's explained to a degree, but I agree totally.
Yeah, and Gene Park of the Washington Post, who is Korean, was also explaining hey, this is their culture. This isn't really about the titillation of men and men gooning to video game characters. This is more about the fact that this is the Korean, this is what they like in terms of fashion and beauty. This is what's coming out. And Eve is never really sexualized in the game at all, unless you, the character, put her in something skimpy, or the player.
Which they're definitely. They're sexualized.
But they're never talking about the way she looks that much.
No,
it's not part of the narrative. It's just she just happens to be attractive.
No, absolutely. And there is. The can set. It's literally just a set of lace lingerie. So there is some points where I'm I can get being okay, yeah.
I fucking love dressing up Eve.
I did, yeah. She had some really cool and funny outfits on top of the ones that are obviously meant to be more attractive
there's more
looking.
Armored ones, there's more sexy ones, there's more casual normal wear. I really enjoyed it. It was fun.
I think the overall world design in this is some of the coolest that I've seen in a while, genuinely.
You were talking about the Matrix
kind of
inspiration. Did you want to talk about that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I think, we were talking to Dylan in our Discord, and he says and I've heard this a ton too, there's an absolute shit ton of near references and kind of like parallels and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's not a game
it's not something we've played, so we don't really have those touchstones.
You played,
I played a
right?
bit of Tier. Yeah, I played it for like an hour, and I thought it was cool, and I got into it, but I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't
the
go back.
music is definitely very near. Love the music.
Absolutely, I love
Big
the music
highlight,
too, for sure. But yeah, it was funny. I don't think there's a lot of incredibly original ideas in this, like in the way of like new things, but I do think that they take a lot of pre-existing ideas and integrate them in an interesting way. I do think The Matrix was for sure a large inspiration to this game, just story-wise, in the way of you are the Andre Eidos, who are like
Andro Eidos.
Andro Eidos, who are Eidos, who are like coming back to Earth to rid it of Natibas because there was this war back far back between humans and machines, and
so
but they believe that
the Andro Eidos are like the new humans,
right?
And they think they're humans, and like we were talking about, like this guy doesn't look like a fucking human at all.
Yes.
Like what's going on? It's
no,
like, oh, they think they're humans.
Well, they think that they're a descendant of the humans. I thought was the idea.
Right,
There does get to be
they're humans,
right?
Yeah, like essentially is what they think they are, and they don't know what
exactly.
Yeah.
I think some of it gets a little bit confusing for me, a little bit towards the middle. I think the end wraps it up a bit better when they kind of lay it out. But you know, it's these people kind of. It's Eve. She starts out in the Matrix. She's part of Mother Sphere and part of the people trying to destroy who they believe are, you know, the bad people. But then she gets woken up to the reality of, oh, I'm actually the android. I didn't realize this. Mother Sphere isn't the good guy.
She doesn't seem to know that much.
No, she has no idea, and you're finding all this out through who was the other girl? Angel?
Lily?
No, the woman or the other. What are they called? They're just what is her like type of? Does she have like a unit, like the air unit or whatever? Right?
Lily?
No, Eve. Like what?
Eve is
like an airborne squadron, right?
She's part of the airborne squadron.
Right. You're following
Eve
that
is like an engineer. Or
right.
Sorry, Lily is an engineer.
Right. And then the woman you're following who's leaving you these messages.
Raven is another member of an earlier airborne squadron.
But, you know, other smaller things like you fast travel with a phone. The Nebuchadnezzar really feels like the inspiration for the tetrapod. Even the design of the world, I felt a lot of Matrix inspiration, which I appreciated, and I thought that works really well. The Oracle design was super cool. Like, just very interesting and different like biotechnologies, which I thought was really cool to kind of get to explore.
I think the non-main character NPCs are a little bit bland. Like the lip syncing for some of them is like really bad, and I don't think their dialogue is very good. And I think there's a bunch of stilted dialogue in this game.
I think some of the side quests are for
Adam
sure
in the beginning, but I think that's kind of actually the point.
It might be.
He seems to be a bit stilted on purpose because he has much different voice acting in the end when you find out that he is Raphael, whatever. What's his name? Last name?
Oh, I forget his
the
last
guy
name.
who makes.
But he is the alpha Natiba, right? That's the idea. But yeah,
there's the elder Natiba.
The elder Natiba. Thank you.
The Natiba is a pretty cool word too. I kind of I was like, what's a Natiba?
Super scorny. Just like a lot of biomechanical designs going on with a lot of those, like
with
especially
the Natibas. Yeah,
absolutely. Even a lot of the bosses. The one guy with like the weird chainsaw face. Like
I have to admit I was pretty unimpressed by the bosses and especially when you see bosses you fought again. I was like, ooh.
Right, you like the side bosses, which are just enhanced versions of like other like regular
like the guy
enemies.
with the chainsaw head. And
exactly.
And then the bull thing with like that spiral circle thing. But then when you get to like the end game fights, I was like, oh, okay, these are cool.
And those were more like the side bosses, right? Too. Those
no, they were more like the main ones.
Were they? I'm trying to remember because
There's not like the hive thing. You fight that twice,
right?
You know, it's like oh, again,
definitely.
You know?
Yeah, I thought a lot of the enemies were interesting. I thought the gun edition definitely makes an interesting addition too. I didn't use it as much as I was expecting.
I think the gun is probably where the gameplay needed the improvement.
The
agree. Gun seemed like almost like an afterthought. Like they put it in there. Like if there was some sort of like quick shot, or you could combo that into your combos in some way, I think that would have been better because the like transfer to melee to the gun, it's so like jarring.
It is weird, and when you're trying to, because you have to hold down the left trigger to bring up your ammo menu, which if you don't hold that down, it brings up just your your like assistant menu. What would you call those things? Like those things that you throw on the ground. I didn't use those a ton.
Consumables. The
consumables. Yeah,
I used them a fair bit. I liked the mine was the good one.
It was,
and the one that got rid of the balance points and the shield
stand
points.
stuff.
Yeah, I didn't use like the knockdown grenade all that much, but I had them and I did try to like utilize them and mix them in with my gameplay.
That makes sense. I thought the beta skills were very helpful a lot, especially the bosses. It felt like they were almost necessary to beat. I will admit, Gooch, I had to turn the difficulty down on the final boss. I was getting fucked. Yeah.
So I'm on New Game Plus and I'm doing hard mode and it's not that much harder. I was actually playing on very easy and I was like, this is too easy. So
I was having no issues with every other thing, like the other bosses that, like, I would die a few times, but I would get their moves down and finally beat them. But there is a difference in I assume in the last boss we fought based on our choice at the end, because there are a few different choices in this.
I did. Going to your point on difficulty, I did like the difficulty scaling. I think it progresses pretty nicely.
I think it did too.
There were a few bosses that held me up, but like not that long.
Same here. Like until I get to the last boss, really was fucking killing me.
Spoilers. Like I really liked the Raven fight. Like I thought the fight with her was cool, and the last fight, and I fought Adam in his
I assume
in his Elder Natiba form. And you fight Lily's mech.
I fight her mech, her mech suit.
So I was annoyed that I picked like the neutral, like normal ending where you just kind of, you don't go with Adam, you kill him, and then you just go back to Mother Sphere.
So so that first decision at the beginning of the game, so there's like 2 or 3, did you choose to go with him? There's like a choice where you can go with him and trust him or not.
Does that really change anything?
That's what I'm curious. I don't know.
So.
Did you choose to just go with him?
I did even in my New Game Plus.
Okay, so I'm curious to see. On my New Game Plus, I won't go with him.
If I have to run the game again, because you have to get all 3 endings for the platinum, I pretty much have the platinum. I just need to do the 2 endings that I didn't do.
Right.
And I think that's it. Some of the New Game, the New Game Plus, finishing on the New Game Plus, but then the New Game Plus skills.
Right.
So New Game Plus is they add a little bit more, but typical.
Right.
Yeah.
Any new there was a lot more outfits than I was expecting.
I gotta say, there's a lot of New Game Plus outfits.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I would love to jump back in and check it out.
That was like my favorite part of like I would use one outfit, then I switch with the hair and the earrings and like
and guess what? It is an incentive to see her even. That is, I do think part of it, like you were saying, like she is an incredibly beautiful woman on purpose to, I think, make you want to explore and get those outfits and have a piece of art to look at while you're also playing the game. Yeah, some of it is super sexualized, but some of it is incredibly
It's so funny.
Cool.
Some outfits are just like super revealing and like very like
certain outfits
stereotypical ways. Then there's like a Sailor Moon outfit, and I'm running with her, and I'm like, I am up this girl's ass.
There's another
like,
one, and don't ask me how I noticed this, Gooch, but certain outfits have thicker thighs.
Really?
Yeah, like there's one. God, I'm a piece of shit. There's one with it's like the one that you get for doing all the fishing. She's tanner in it, and her thighs are bigger for sure.
Really?
Yeah, and okay. Certain have like different skin tones and stuff, but a lot of the bio like the mechanical ones were cool. There's like one red one where you almost have like this like robot arm. And stuff.
The Junker one. Yeah, I have that.
Some really cool and interesting designs, absolutely. And I think that does incentivize you to explore even more. I do think that the open worlds were a little samey. The 2 deserts, which I get from a narrative perspective in the way of like this is kind of a fucked up Earth, like a desolate
post-apocalyptic,
Earth. Yeah, so that makes sense to me. But like when you get to the tower, that was my favorite shit. And you're in the top area where it's like this feng shui type garden, and like there's like the metallic leaves falling, and it's very Japanese inspired or Chinese inspired. I loved all that, but I felt like it got a little samey in the middle there.
Yeah, I really liked 807, and now that I played that intro again, that is a long intro.
It is, yeah.
It's a really long intro. Like going through it again, I'm like, all right.
Until you get to the real
Jesus
meat of it,
Christ.
yeah.
Like, can I like get into the open world? Because once you get past that part, it's a pretty if you mainline it, it's a pretty quick game.
Yeah.
And I don't think the side content is anything worth talking about or that compelling.
There's some stuff with like the sister I thought was somewhat
there's
interesting.
Some like main character side quests that are probably the ones you want to do with Sue and Enya and the Kai.
Yeah. I do think fast traveling was a bit of an issue for this in me.
Yeah, especially when I was going to like get the cans and fish, and I was like, dude, I gotta go to the tetrapod and travel, and I can't just like go to the phone and fast travel anywhere. Yeah.
I get what they were going for, but like just let me go to the phone, let me pull up the new place and then go directly to that fast travel point. It really did get annoying with just, like you said, trying to go back for the cans, going to the fishing locations.
Did you like fishing?
I did, surprisingly enough.
I did, and then the RNG of it to get like some of those fish. At
That's
the end,
really
like,
the
what
annoying
the
thing.
Fuck?
So I found it to be it's a very arcadey style fishing minigame. I think it's almost like I said this. It's like a super assisted and dumbed down version of Red Dead's. I'm not even kidding. Because you
agree.
pull away and you have to reel, but this one's just more assisted. I do think that was the worst part because I was finding it very easy to get all the fish. I found them and I was like, oh, I got it. But then I hit this wall where I'm like, I'm not getting this one fish that I need. Like you, I think.
The last fish. I'm like, dude, what is going on?
But then for some reason I pushed right through that and then it became easy again and I was getting all the fishes that I need. But yeah, I think it's an interesting addition. Not one I would have expected in this. This game really does feel like they did just like take a ton of different ideas from a bunch of different games that have come out over the past couple years and smash them together. And I know you were saying you don't find this to be a Souls-like or even in that category.
He said it. He's infected the review. We're comparing it to Dark Souls. Here we go, guys.
But like, do you think it's infecting like that by comparing Star Wars to that, like Jedi? Comparing that to Souls? Because I think that this is very comparable to Jedi.
Yes, but I don't think it's comparable to Dark Souls.
But you would say Jedi is comparable to Dark Souls, or would you not? That's my question.
Would I say Jedi Fall? The
Jedi series
is comparable to Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So you think this is just enough tweaked to not be able to even sort of call it a Souls-like?
Correct.
Okay. All right. That makes sense to me. I disagree.
And the reason I say that is difficulty, and the fact that death does not have any sort of negative besides just going back to where you died. So you don't drop your
right.
XP and you have to go get it back.
But then that makes it not a Souls-like?
I think Souls-like is defined by its difficulty and the fact that you have to go back to your corpse to retrieve your progress.
Okay. I'm going to be devil's advocate. Star Wars Jedi, you have a difficulty setting in.
Correct.
But
I think the game is pretty difficult. The
but
first
you can
one, at least.
Right. So you're saying on the hardest difficulty, it feels comparable to like a Souls-like difficulty. But you can still adjust that down to easy, I guess is what I'm saying. So that doesn't that.
But in
render
Jedi, there's also a system where you go pick up your force
right. So I guess what I'm saying,
whatever,
as long as you have one of two of those, you're saying that then passes the snuff for you.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
It's really about difficulty. Dark Souls is all about difficulty. If Dark Souls wasn't easy, it wouldn't.
Right, but I guess wouldn't then the idea that Jedi can remove that difficulty then negate that? Then that's not a Souls-like then?
But then
because I can choose
the
it to
other
be
half
easy.
is it being like the death mechanic being sort of like a, the trial and error of it, the retrieving of progression.
Right. And I think that makes sense. But I guess the only thing missing, I think that does happen in Stellar Blade aside from just retrieving your XP. Like you're still going through trial and error every time you fight a boss.
I mean,
like, I think
that's
that
any game.
No, I think that's specifically really a Dark Souls like thing where you're learning the move set of a character. And this is again, I like this conversation only because I think that they talk about this on Last Stand a lot. Like there isn't a true gaming lexicon. I think that there are many things that make a Souls-like game, for instance, but I don't think just taking out one of them then negates it from being one. Like I think this still has so many of the elements of a Souls-like that I can call it a Souls-like, even if I don't go and retrieve my XP. You know what I mean?
Sure,
but that's my
in the terms of gameplay. I would say it's not. There's a lot more combos and abilities and sort of Devil May Cry like gameplay. That's also why I wouldn't say it, because
that makes sense.
You're not like switching weapons. You have two weapons, the sword and the gun.
Makes sense.
And then you have your power up mode, which the Taki mode. I was kind of actually disappointed how weak that is.
I agree.
It's not very
strong. So too.
But I did use it, and then the Taki the burst abilities.
Yeah,
your
burst was good.
and beta. You don't have that in Dark Souls. You don't have that in Souls games.
Right, but you have trick weapons and stuff like that, right? And certain
they're not like
they cause different gameplay mechanics and such with different bosses.
Sure, but they're not skills that you expend an energy to use.
Right, but right, okay. Yeah. again, I think we're getting, and we can move past at this point. I just think this is more of a fun
Like,
conversation.
I mean, you could compare it to using magic in Elden Ring or Dark Souls. That's different, but it's also like it's still different because your magic meter's sort of replacing your stamina in terms of what you're using it for.
That makes sense to me. Let us know in the comments what you think. Is this a Souls-like or not? Because I'm real curious. This is a fun. It's a genuine, like, I don't know why dissecting this is a fun.
It was good. It was a good conversation. I wasn't gonna. I entertained it,
and I appreciate it. But Stellar Blade, I think that there is a lot to love in the combat in this. I think those beta skills and the burst skill add a layer to it that makes it interesting. I think the block is a little weird. I will say the parry.
Dustin from Last Stand kept saying he thought the parry was kind of off. I thought it was fine.
So it's so fun because he did mention that, and I do feel like you almost do have to parry a bit earlier than I would expect. The dodge I was not understanding. I kept fucking that up every time.
I did like the blue dodge thing and the purple dodge.
Yeah.
Like I like those, and I was dodging and parrying and or blocking. Like I was doing all of that stuff. Yeah, I think it just made combat more dynamic and unique about how you can evade instead of just rolling all the time.
Right.
Like, it's not like a Dark Souls roll where you're just like fucking.
No, absolutely. I didn't
like
use the evade a
rolling
ton.
through.
Yeah. I was sprinting around a lot to avoid things. And dude, that mech fight, man, there's so much going on with it that I just I couldn't keep up. And he would switch or it would switch up attack patterns in different phases that I wasn't expecting. So like one thing that I didn't get until an attack that it wouldn't do until like I was halfway done the fight, it started doing at the beginning of the fight. And I was like, what the fuck is happening? So I just wasn't like, I just was getting fucked up. It was bad. That's why I was like, all right, I want to finish this. I just want to beat this tonight. So I'm going to move down the difficulty because it was like 3 hours. And then I had done 2 hours the night before. And I was like, dude,
Christ.
What the fuck? So
Raven took me maybe like.
Raven was easy.
Who was before Raven?
Who was it?
At the top of the spire.
Oh, it was that weird kind of big person. I like with the I like that boss fight a lot.
No.
It's the like mushed together thing, right? It's a bunch of people. It's at the top of the spire.
No, not that one. The one with like the dual arms that you fight twice and you cut an arm off and it comes back.
Oh, I think I remember. Yeah.
That one gave me a little bit of trouble.
Okay.
But like not that much trouble.
No, I don't. Again, all the other ones I was fine with. That was the only one that truly I was like, what the fuck?
Yawning a lot. Sorry.
No, it's okay. We've been going for a while now, so it's just how it goes. But yeah, I think Stellar Blade's a really fun time. I think
it's definitely worth a pickup for sure.
If you enjoyed I think Star Wars,
it was $70.
Like it. Yeah,
which also made me a bit nervous, especially I was like, I have so many games to play right now. I'm still trying to finish Rebirth and do all this other shit. Now I'm getting another game.
Right.
But yeah, and the platinum isn't that bad. It's a pretty standard completion with doing the endings. Not much more to say about
exactly.
it.
Yeah, it's an easy one.
I'm interested to see what Shift Up does next. I hope Sony doesn't buy them. I would like to see their titles go multi-platform. I don't think they need to be in the Sony.
This is only is this a timed exclusive or is this a full exclusive? It's first party.
I think it's
just
it's a third party game, but it's exclusive to PlayStation.
Right.
Shift Up, you actually may have seen the ads for it. They do it. Nikkei. It's like there's like a bunch of girls shooting guns, and you see them on the YouTube ads, and they have like bouncing boobs and big asses.
Of course. Sounds about in line.
A
lot of jiggle physics in this game.
Yeah. Eve's hair, fantastic.
It is. It's funny. So I know you were telling me how you like to cycle through things in games, right? Like
outfits.
Yeah, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I am the guy where I'm just like, I like this one and this one. I'm only using this for the rest of the game for the most part.
I use different outfits. I want to go through all the hairs, all the accessories. Yeah.
No, I loved all the hair. Again, the customization is something I always love in a great game, and I think having Eve to customize makes it good. It does. It makes you want to get even more invested.
Yeah, so it looks like, and how our ending ends, I mean, at least mine, there's definitely going to be a sequel, and they definitely line up to be a sequel, and I would love to see a sequel to Stellar Blade. I would too. But I think locking it to PlayStation, I'm not sure why they did that.
Money. Probably Sony just was like, here's a bunch of money.
But I feel like they have an opportunity to open it up and go multi-platform. Like
I don't think they can with this now. If the first, I'm sure Sony owns the IP then. If this is a complete exclusive, right. So I think on their next IP, I agree with you. I would like to see that in an optimal world. Absolutely.
Yeah, and they did add New Game Plus post game. I know we've been talking about that, but that was like a week after.
Really? I thought that actually was. I thought that came out with the game.
No.
Okay. Either way, it was like right, which I appreciate. I kind of hate this trend of New Game Plus comes like months after
they added
game
some
releases.
outfits and stuff, and
yeah, there was like the Kabuki outfits or something. They're pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if we'll get DLC. I don't think this game needs DLC at all.
No, I think you can move on to the next one. Give me just the next one in the series.
Right,
I
but I think it's worth a playthrough or two. Like I think it's got a ton of replay value.
Absolutely.
and fun.
Should we get into the endings? Or do we want to leave the narrative?
Yeah. Tell me, you got the best ending.
Yeah. So I just
didn't fucking pick it. I had it, which is really annoying because I have to.
It felt like it made the most sense.
I didn't
to
even
me.
understand that Lily mechanic to begin with. I didn't even know what that was until I was like reading about it. I'm like, what? Lily percent bar?
Oh yeah. So what even is that? So what?
It affects if you can get that ending or not.
Oh,
and if you
interesting.
don't have her at 100%, like she just dies.
Oh wow.
So there's like 3 endings. One where you reject Adam and do that. One where you have Lily 100%, and then one where you don't.
Oh, okay. Interesting. And then, so how do you get her? Just by doing her like side quests or something?
You
Or by
picking things up, doing side quests. Yeah, I was like,
interesting.
Yeah, I was like, basically, if you ignore everything in the game, you won't get it to 100%.
Oh, wow.
It seems like a really easy mechanic to get to 100%.
Yeah, I wasn't even trying to, and I did it apparently. So
Right.
that's really cool. So yeah, it ends. I accepted being like merged with Adam, and I get some cool furry arms.
You went in the middle green path. In
I
Mass
did.
Effect 3.
I did. I
Wait,
merged.
You what?
I got some nice furry legs with the new. She has like these. She like gets a new outfit, and she has like big cat legs. Almost. Like I don't even know how else to describe it. But no, the outfit's actually pretty cool, and she just becomes like the alpha, like the perfect combination of the. I keep forgetting.
Andro Ados.
I want to say Andre Adas. And the Naytibas, and they fuse together to create like this new. Because the Naytibas, you find out, are just humans that were trying to biologically evolve themselves to be able to take out the Andre Adas. It was wrong, wasn't it?
Andro Ados.
Andro Adas. I can't say this.
Eidos Montreal.
Andros Adas.
No. Andro.
Andro.
Say it with me.
Dro.
A. Das.
Andro
Andro
Adas. And the Naytibas.
Oh my god.
It's tough, man.
It's not that hard.
I don't know why. It's just it's the vowels. It's all together. The perfect fusion of these two beings, and
cats.
And cats, apparently. I don't know why. And she has the like angel wing thing is interesting to me, and like I like how his was like gold, because I guess certain Naytibas just they go feral and just become monsters, but like he seems to be like a successful one. And then Lily's like armor locks in to this automated thing, and she can't do anything about it. So
and that's what you fight.
And you fight it, and then she gets out. So I assume she dies in the armor there, and you can't get her out if you don't get your 100%. But then you go back, and Mother Sphere shows up.
Yeah, she's like a little girl.
And she's like a little girl, and she's...
That happens with me too.
Yeah, I didn't quite understand what she was saying. She was talking about, she's like, oh, I wanted to meet you guys in person. Yeah, I'm gonna kill you now. And I don't.
Oh, she doesn't say that to us. She's
she
like,
didn't say that
back.
specifically. She says like something like "Welcome back," and then she's like, "Okay," and then she like fades away, and all like these ships come in, and like a bunch of.
Do you get the view of like Earth and what's surrounding it?
I think so.
Okay.
No, I think it's
like...
more just that all the ships are approaching.
Okay.
And it's like all these drop pods go down to fight you, and it's just you're battling these like waves of different airborne squad members. And it fades to black. But then there is an after credit scene where it shows her just Eve with just all the bodies on the floor around her, and it's like the sun is coming up, and it seems to be a new day. And
so I wonder what the canon ending is going to be.
I would assume it would be that one.
You would assume.
You would assume, but I don't know. What was your ending?
Yeah. So you reject Adam. He's like, okay, we're gonna fight, and we fight, and he dies.
Right.
And we go back to the colony. And job well done. Now you're gonna get debriefed, and then you see the shot of like Earth and like the colony that's around it, and it almost looks like a planet with like a bunch of Saturn rings. Like there's a bunch of stuff like around it. It's pretty interesting, but it seems like like Mother Sphere has like you know, like she like you're basically getting like debriefed, or you're about to, and then that's it. It's just like, oh yeah, something's gonna happen now.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Definitely play Stellar Blade. I think it was a lot of fun. Can't recommend it enough, especially if you can get it for even cheaper than $70. But I do think it's a worthwhile purchase at $70 for sure. Anything else, Gooch?
That's it.
Alrighty, folks. Thank you all so much for watching with us live on twitch.tv/Delco Nerd Network. We really appreciate your time. You can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Just search Delco Nerd Network on the favorite platform of your choice. You can find all this information on our website, delconerdnetwork.com, or on all the favorite social media pages as well, at Delco Nerds, on everything with an @ You can email us your comments, questions, or concerns to delconerds@gmail.com. We'd be happy to get back to you. For Gooch, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching. Stay nerdy, guys, and we will see you next time.